All right, so let's take a look to see what's happening in the markets today. And today is Wednesday. No, it is Thursday, May 13th. With me in the studio is my head coach, Markus. Good morning. Hey,
Hey,
how do
Mark.
you like our fancy new intro here?
I love it. I love it. You have to get a little
Okay.
fired up before the markets.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's see what's happening in the market. So let's talk about yesterday first before we look at what the futures are doing today. So yesterday, I mean, all markets are down, right? All major
Yeah,
indices.
yeah. Another drop lower, and I mean, this was a pretty decent drop. Adding to the week, the S&P. Are you looking at the Nasdaq?
Yeah, it's Nasdaq, but I brought it up here. So S&P.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, for the week now, the Nasdaq with yesterday's drop down 5.2%. The Dow down 3.4%. This is for the week,
Yeah,
3.4%, and the S&P for the week,
there we go, S&P.
S&P for the week's down 4%, right? So just
Yeah.
last week, we were near record highs. I mean, the Dow was making record highs, and I mean, big picture, this drop is minor. But when you're looking at the week, it's a decent slide.
It sure is. I mean, and yesterday, the 2% or 2% plus in the Nasdaq definitely added to it. So what happened? What happened yesterday?
Yeah. I mean, right now it's really all about inflation, rising costs. And so yesterday we had CPI, core CPI, and that jumped higher than expected. I think a lot of people were feeling that, inflation is on the rise, but this really proved it. And the increase over the last 12 months is the biggest we've seen since 2008. So, Marcus, you just put it there, 13-year high. So that is something to watch. And we know that the Fed's talking about inflation really being under control, or it can waver. It's okay. It's expected. But of course, the way to combat inflation is to raise interest rates, which is what they don't want to do right now.
Right. So their target is 2%, and it came in at 4.2%, which is way ahead of the Fed target. And we know that this is due to the shortages caused by COVID, but and the Fed has reiterated it that yes, it is transitory. I think this is the word that they like to use. But now their concerns is how long will it take for prices to settle down? So therefore, I believe the only CPI reading that really matters is next ones, right? Because we will see, is this really just transitory? Is this
Temporary,
something
yeah,
where prices are now getting back under control, or will they continue to keep rising? So, and yeah, as you said, I
that's a
mean,
good point.
all indices here had a really bad day. I mean, the Dow had the worst day since January, and yeah, S&P, Nasdaq fell over 2%. So yeah, this is where we really will see, and I believe that we might see these market jitters for the next months. I mean, probably for the remainder of May and going into June until we see the next reading here.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good point, Marcus. I mean, even today, the producer price index, PPI, that's considered to be a lower impact report, not as big of a deal as the CPI. But US producer prices rose 0.6% last month. And that means that PPI is up 6.2% for the last 12 months. Again, as far as a report goes, typically not as significant as the consumer price index, but that's the largest increase since they started tracking this data in 2010.
Oh wow. Okay, so that's not good. On the other hand, the good news that came out this morning were unemployment claims, and we had this horrible jobs report last week that surprised everybody, where everybody expected that in March 1 million jobs would be added, and it was only like 226,000 or something like this.
Yeah,
So now we're looking at the
big.
weekly unemployment claims. So the weekly unemployment claims, slightly different story. Previously came in worse than expected at 507,000 last week. Forecasted was 487, but actual was 473. So looks like jobs market getting a little bit better, but inflation getting worse. So this is where, okay, what are we, happy or are we sad? So let's take a look at the indices and see what they're doing, how the market is reacting to it. So we're taking a look at the futures markets, and here we see the Nasdaq. The Nasdaq thus far is reacting quite positively to this. So pre-market here, we are up what, 0.8% in the Nasdaq. So that's not bad. Let's take a look at the ES. So the E-mini S&P up 0.3, and the Dow pretty much still flatlining. So what does that tell us?
Well, I think it tells us that the value play right now, people are kind of wondering what's going on, waiting to see where things open and what's going to happen once trading gets underway. But it does look like there's a little push in tech. Maybe, again, buying the dip. After all, the Nasdaq had the biggest drop this week. It's 5% lower, and that's a decent drop. So we'll see if that buy the dip carries through into the morning and throughout the day.
Yeah. Well, so
So
again, inflation and jobs definitely the main focus here for traders right now.
so I have to bring up the WTF moment of the last 24 hours.
Yeah.
Did you hear about Elon Musk?
Oh my gosh. Yes. Okay. All right. Okay. Tell us about it.
So Elon Musk tweeted that Tesla would stop car purchases using Bitcoin over environmental concerns. So this actually sent Bitcoin down as much as 15%. And we're talking about billions of dollars lost in the crypto market because of Elon's tweet, right? And this is back in just in February. Tesla announced in a regulatory filing that it had purchased a billion worth of Bitcoin and planned to accept the cryptocurrency as payment.
Was it
So, I
1.5
mean,
billion?
I think that, yeah, 1.5 billion.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, what WTF, right? It's like, hey,
Well,
I'm a fan of Elon. I mean, this guy said, I want to go into space. He did it. I want to build a cool electric car. He did it. I mean, he was involved with PayPal. PayPal like really kind of changed the whole, payment processing. But but I think this guy's gotten a little too big for his britches here. Just
well,
sending out tweets now.
did you hear why he's ditching Bitcoin?
Oh, well, I didn't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
no, he
I
ditched
assume it's
Bitcoin because he says, well, you know what? I looked into it, and the amount of energy that is being used to mine Bitcoin is just
oh, sure.
enormous. And these are fossil energies. And you would think that a guy who is running an electric car company would have known that before he announced that he is buying $1.5 billion in Bitcoin and is announcing that he is accepting it for car payments. Anyhow, so right now,
Sure.
vroom, full reversal here. So let's take a
Yeah.
look at Tesla pre-market of what investors are thinking about it. Well, investors are okay, whatever. So up 2.1% pre-market after yesterday's slide. But I think there's also here in Tesla more of a buy the dip than really
Sure.
reaction to this. But yeah, as you said, the big one here is definitely Bitcoin. That slumped overnight, and holy cannoli, that's for sure. WTF? Like, what were you thinking? Okay. Hey,
Well,
we
and
also need to talk about the Colonial Pipeline. I
yeah,
mean, this is the largest gasoline pipeline, and it reopened late yesterday after when was it? Over the weekend, a ransomware attack caused it to close for 5 days. And this was done by what is this gang, Dark Side, right? These hackers, Dark
yeah,
Side. So
right.
let's see, what is crude oil doing this morning? Okay, so crude oil down as expected. As right now we're reopening it, but we talked about it yesterday. I mean, it will take 2 weeks until it is fully operational again.
Yeah, and maybe they are expecting to be able to speed that up a little bit. Who knows? I know that last night, I think it was around 5 p.m. Eastern time, they announced that they were back online. But to your point, Marcus, it's going to take a while to be fully operational. So we'll see. We'll
We'll see.
see. I
Hey,
know
this
people
this
were.
dark side hackers, they actually announced that there are 3 new targets that are being attacked. And so the companies have not publicly been announced, but it's said to be one in Illinois, one in the UK, and another one in Brazil. So
I saw that.
we'll
I
see what's
saw
happening.
that, and especially after they kind of said, "Well, we're sorry for the social issues the last attack caused." Maybe stay just kind of in the background for a little bit.
I
They're
mean,
gonna get caught.
anyhow. Hey, what else is moving this morning? What other stocks are moving and shaking here?
I think Alibaba reported earnings this morning.
Okay, so Baba reported earnings. Well, did they miss earnings?
I didn't see what was said, but I'm pretty sure it was pre-market. If not pre-market, it's today.
Yeah. Okay.
So not a
We'll
whole
see.
lot of movement.
So Facebook,
Disney
I want to bring
reporting
up
after the
Facebook. Did
bell.
you hear about Facebook and their another effort at cryptocurrencies?
No.
So you know that they started this project Libra, and I believe it was in 2019 or something like this, and then it got quickly shut down. And now they rebranded it and they call it now Diem, and they're relocating their offices from Switzerland to the US, and they want to focus on the US first because they realize, well, if they want to gain any traction here, they first need to get the backing from US regulators. And in order to get backing from US regulators, you should be in the US and not in Switzerland. So, here, anyhow, this is where, let's see what Facebook is doing this morning. So, the idea here is with their cryptocurrency, they say, well, we want to expand beyond the just the social network, empower the billions of people that don't have bank accounts to actually make payments. And a bunch of other companies, they like the idea. So PayPal was amongst the forming members. eBay was amongst the forming members. Stripe, the payment processor, even Visa card and MasterCard. So this morning, Facebook up 1.08%, but this is more in line with what the Nasdaq is doing. So I don't think that this is really connected to this announcement. It's just interesting that they
It
say,
is.
yeah, you know what? Let's try it again. And we're no longer calling it Libra because that did not work. So now we're calling it DM. Okay. We'll see.
Carpe diem, seize the day, seize the crypto. Hey,
We'll see.
speaking of crypto, I wish I looked into this data a little bit more, but I saw a headline that said 20 million adults are planning on investing in crypto next year, and this would be double the retail investor base. So basically, twice as many people are planning, twice as many people as there are investors right now in stocks are planning on um, investing in crypto. So
So what do you
I'm
think?
curious in the comments, do you think this is a good idea? Should everybody be investing in crypto, or is it a bit overdone?
And
See
what
what
do you
people
think?
think.
What is the cryptocurrency that will take off to the moon? Is it Dogecoin? Is it Bitcoin? Is it Ethereum? What do you think? Leave a comment here. All right, cool. Also talk. Let's talk about Pfizer. So earlier this week, the FDA approved Pfizer's vaccine for 12 to 15-year-olds, and yesterday the CDC also put its stamp of approval there and say, okay, we are good to go. But it doesn't seem to have an impact on Pfizer. Is this a classical buy the rumor, sell the news here?
Probably, I think that it was all but expected, and so probably not a big deal once it was revealed. So I would say so.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, last one because I thought this was interesting. Yesterday we talked about Wendy's. Remember, Wendy's reported
Yeah.
earnings, and they were actually going lower. Same here. Jack in the Box, again, another company that I did not know that it is publicly traded, but they fell 4.3% yesterday after they said, you know what? I think everything will be more expensive. So they're already saying that inflation will hit us. So they think that in order of their food price and all of this, it will be 3% higher in cost, and then also labor cost will increase 5 to 6%. And we talked about this. It's right now not easy to get people back to work if you're getting a lot of unemployment support here. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Hey, we got to wrap it up because we are live trading with our mastermind members. So we got to find a few cool trades. We have placed quite a few trades this week. It's working out pretty good. I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
What do you think? Okay.
Yep.
Anyhow, hey, I hope that you enjoyed today's show. And if you would like to see more of this, click on subscribe, hit the little notification bell, because this way you get notified whenever we are going live or publishing a new video. Okay. Anyhow, got to jump over into the room to trade with our mastermind members. Y'all have a great rest of your day.
Happy trading, everyone.